Hey, what's up, guys? Tuki here, back again with another episode of my Vegas Golden Knights franchise mode series. And in this episode, we deal with the aftermath of a fairly disappointing effort in the first round against the Arizona Coyotes, as needless to say, we fell short. The goaltending wasn't exactly where we were hoping it would be. There were some other issues as well that we will get into as we go through this episode. I have a couple of things in mind, but there are no guarantees with how this is going to go down. Before we get into it, I want to get into a couple of your comments. First of all, Fredzina, I wouldn't say I was pissed. It's more parental. It's more, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed when it comes to how this team performed. Bring back Elijah Lackey. That might be a possibility. That's what you get for trading Vasilevsky. I'll get back to you on that comment. Hold on. Trade Tate Dwyer. That might also be a possibility. Perhaps. Matt Parazak. You got cheap, and it came back to bite you in the draft. So here's what I was mentioning when I said I'd come back to that. You have to remember, you can't use words like me, or you can't be like, hey, Tugi, you did this. We left these major decisions up to a vote. You guys, maybe not you in particular, but you guys as a collective are the reason why we traded Elijah Lackey and Andrei Vasilevsky. Did it work out? Obviously not. The end. I refuse to take blame for this, aside from the fact that I did what I thought was the right thing in terms of getting my audience involved. So you can't blame me, damn it. Anyway, I told you to trade Provorov while his value is still strong. His value is still strong. It is, so don't worry about it. I really want to use morale, but the ice time is nonsense. Is so annoying. How do you compensate for it? Again, the best you can do if you're playing someone who wants to be on the first line, on the second line, power play time. Same thing with second line and third line. Special teams, power play, and penalty kill. Sometimes, though, it still won't work. See Tate Dwyer as an example for that. I never really wanted to trade Elijah Lackey. Maybe trade for him again. Might happen. Can you explain how you assign scouts? I will. Now, obviously, in a Draft to Glory series, it's a little bit different, as I don't have to worry about pro scouts, right? So, obviously, you just double up or even triple up in the WHL, OHL, or anything overseas. But for a series like this, I normally go one scout everywhere, with the exception of occasionally having one rover scout for the European leagues, which is why we had two scouts in Russia at the moment. So, that's all we do. That's all we do. Fire Gervais Chouinard into the sun and trade Dwyer. He'll never recover. There's a chance that. Bring back Lackey. Boy, a lot of people wanting Lackey back. I've had a lot of number one D-men like Provorov that you're better off leaving on the second pair. I mean, I don't disagree in terms of how disappointing Provorov has been, at least in the playoffs. Don't we miss Lackey and Vasi? Don't let the fans make decisions anymore. It's not often you have a YouTuber who listens to the audience and people are like, for the love of God, stop listening to us. That's where we are, though. Tired 24 equals a fucking machine. We need more geography lessons. Geography lessons are a natural occurrence. You can't force comedy gold. You can't. You gotta wait for it. Lackey definitely has to come back. Boy, I wonder if you guys want me to get Lackey back at this point. Never trust a man whose name you can't spell, which is tremendous. How far away is Switzerland from Seattle? Again, you cannot rush comedy gold. Have I gone through the team and checked the poise ratings? I haven't, but here's the thing. We could look at whatever team's going to win the cup and see, oh, this guy, like, look, they got some 90s on the team, and that's all well and good. You get high poise ratings with having players that you had to sign to big-time contracts at 26, 27 years old, and then you wait until they're 30, 31, 32, and then they have really good poise ratings. Do we want to, that's not exactly the way we've gone. Again, we were going down that route, and we weren't winning, so we gave up. So to me, poise ratings are a little bit ridiculous because you'll have an 81 overall goalie with 75 poise win the Conn Smythe. So I'm just going to say poise ratings to me, and how Andrei Vasilevsky, strong poise rating, wasn't exactly the strongest goalie for us even in the cup winning year in the playoffs. So I don't put much stock into poise ratings personally. So there is that. Hey, Toogie, hope you win the lottery. The Islanders finished 30th. That is another big factor. As I'm going to get back into this, I know the Chicago Wolves are in the postseason. I don't really care. And I know that I could try to sign some players to contracts. I also don't really care right now. I'm solely focused on the draft. Because here's the thing. We do have, I believe, 6 first-round picks this year because of all of the players that we traded away, or at least the big-name players we traded away, like Vasilevsky and like Elijah Lackey. So there is, as the Wolves are out already, so that's not too much of a concern, there is a lot of room for maneuverability in this draft. Now, am I going to reacquire Andrei Vasilevsky? Honestly, probably not. If he was on the team's trade block, which I believe we traded him to Pittsburgh, and they still have Matt Murray, so there's a good chance they could want to trade him, I could get him back for relatively cheap. But at this point, Vasi was what, an 88, 89? Or was he a 90 when we traded him? Regardless, he's 30, 31, maybe even as old as 32. He might already be on the decline, whereas, yeah, Gervais Chouinard botched it. But he's an 86 overall at 23 years old as the Winnipeg Jets win the Stanley Cup. The point is with Gervais Chouinard, I went through and looked at other goalies that are available. There is not one goalie outside of Remorse on Chicago who is an 87 at like 23 or 25, something like that. There is not one goalie in the league who is better in terms of overall at the same age group as Gervais Chouinard is. Just flat out. He's an 86 right now. Let me make sure I hit the right button and go check Chicago to show you one Remorse. I don't even know his first name. Samuel Remorse. He's 25 and an 87. There is not one goalie who is better, at least in terms of starters that were on rosters, than Gervais Chouinard. So as much as it sucks to be like, wow, he really botched it and did not have a great postseason, I don't think he's the guy to trade unless we trade for a 30, 31, 32-year-old goaltender and just be like, okay, well, this is going to limit what we can do in the future unless we have another goalie develop, but let's do it. Or we stick with Gervais Chouinard, we have a younger core, and he might be able to be the guy for us. There's debatable topics here. As Arizona ended up losing to Vancouver, Vancouver were then swept by Winnipeg as the Jets beat the Penguins in the Cup final. So there's a lot to this, and it took me a little bit to get into recording this episode because it's like, okay, I know there's so much to think about here, right? As UC Soros wins the Cup with his 77 poise, 84 overall. Case in point. The defense core wasn't even that great. They ran 5 defensemen, apparently, and then Teuvo Teravainen and Patrick Laine, Evgeny Kuznetsov, carried that team to a cup. There's so much that I want to get to, but I think it's going to be better to wait until the draft because we'll be able to see the full scope of what we're dealing with here. It's going to help to know where our extra draft picks lie. If we win the draft, as was pointed out, the Islanders were terrible. If we have a top 5 pick, a top 10 pick, I think we have a chance at 2 picks inside the top 15. I think. Not entirely sure. So until we know the full scope of what we're dealing with here, it's all just, I guess speculation and just being like, okay, well, this could be what happened. There's no point in pondering what could happen. Let's find out for sure. As we do get the number 3 pick, thanks to the New York Islanders. We also get the 14th pick, thanks to the Chicago Blackhawks. That is a game changer. Knowing that we have the number 3 overall pick opens up a lot of different avenues for us. So I'm just excited right now to get to the draft. We'll look at the full scope of the situation as Patrick Kane and Evgeny Malkin both retire off the backs of ridiculous careers. Rask wins over 450 games. You absolute legend. I'm excited for this because I know it's going to be another big episode. It's impossible for it not to be. I don't know for sure what moves we're making, though. The first step, above all else, when you have a 3rd overall pick, is to see if the 2 teams in front of you want to make a trade. The Sharks do not, so that's not going to happen. And I believe it was the Calgary Flames who had the 2nd pick. So let me see what we have here. They also don't want to trade. So we're pretty much locked into that 3rd pick. And actually, let me go take a look at the full scope of, I'm using that term a lot, but I'm sorry, it's accurate at least. The full scale of what we have draft pick-wise. We have 4 third-round picks, 5 second-round picks, and that is 6 first-round picks. We have a lot of options. In terms of goaltending, again, after looking, here, you know what, I'll take a look. I'm 99% sure Vasi's on Pittsburgh, right? Pretty sure. He is, and they want to trade him. But he's an 88 at 31 years old. An 88 at 31. Gervais Chouinard was an 86 at 23. Is it going to be worth it long-term to trade for Andrei Vasilevskiy, where I believe he was a 90 when we dealt him, was he not? So he's already on the decline. You know, it might improve our chances for this season and maybe, you know, this upcoming season, maybe the next two, but after that, it ends up being a risky move. We do have someone like Coburn, but there's no guarantees he's going to be any better than what Gervais Chouinard is. He has to go up 9 points in 2 seasons. We also have Whitaker, who is 19 points less than Gervais Chouinard and only 3 years younger. And we also have Reitz, which he needs to go right now. And I left that option up to you guys as far as what do we look to do with Reitz. Is it fair for me to trade him? You voted last offseason that the answer is yes. He did not develop this season. He's gone. I just don't know what for yet. But if we do acquire a Vasilevskiy, he's the guy to get for sure, right? So that is option number one. Defensively, we don't have to do anything. I mean, sure, Provorov's been disappointing, and I suppose we do have 5 players for the top 4, so we could look to trade Provorov. We could look to trade Gertzen and Norton to bring in another true top 2 defenseman. But for the most part, defensively, we're fine. We don't really have to worry about anything. We do have a prospect in Nickel, Christie, but they're looking a little bit shaky. Maybe we can find some help here in this draft itself. And then forward-wise, I mean, we have our top 6 with Klassen, Mason Goldobin, Glass, Fotinos, and Dwyer. Here's the thing. Tate Dwyer, and I think you guys would have agreed with this had we known this was going to happen last year. Tate Dwyer would not have stayed and would have been traded instead of Lackey if we knew that there was going to be a morale issue. So to me, I'm not really on board with the idea of trading Gervais Chouinard. I'm just not. We could pick up a veteran goalie like Vasilevskiy to win out, or we put faith in him. I mean, you remember, too, Dirksen was looking to get paid, so that's going to be a problem. Like, that's the only move. Defensively, we're fine. It's just whether or not we want to reacquire Elijah Lackey and whether or not we want to reacquire Andrei Vasilevskiy, and I got to be honest, I don't see the need to necessarily reacquire Vasilevskiy. I could do it, for sure, but is there a point to it, necessarily? Whereas I can get on board with the idea of trading Dwyer, pair him with Reitz, and bring back Elijah Lackey. Now, here's the problem. Tate Dwyer, honestly, isn't all that bad. Right? I mean, he's never scored under 30 goals in a season, I believe. Yeah, look at that. 43, 45, 40, 37, and 30. He's been a great player for us. He was a 3rd-round pick. But maybe a fresh start is what he needs. Maybe it is. I just think the big decision for me is whether or not we go for Vasilevskiy. And I got to be honest, Gervais Chouinard could turn it around. And I think there's too much promise there. And I don't want to be too short-sighted in terms of, well, the next 2 years we could definitely win cups. Well, it's like, okay, well, if Gervais Chouinard turns it around, we could win cups for the next 3 to 5, depending on how long the season goes or the series goes. So, for me, I think the main move here, the only reason why Vasilevskiy is tempting is because of that value. And I think I could knock that price down. Vasilevsky's not the main target. But I'm okay with the fact, and again, I don't think I would do this if it wasn't for the Dwyer morale situation. And while I feel like I could potentially repair it, I am 100% on board with getting Elijah Lackey back. I'm okay with that idea. Simply because, I mean, number one, he's a beast, but the Tate Dwyer situation has kind of forced my hand, and I have the ability to pull this off. We use Dwyer, we use Reitz, and we get this deal done. I don't know if that's going to be enough on its own. It's not, but for me at least, Reitz is free value. It's a big downside to this game where just because he has franchise potential, his trade value doesn't drop. He's 22 and a 64. He shouldn't have high value at all, but he does. So we are going to take advantage of that. And again, you guys said, hey, that's fine, do it. So the big question is, how many of these draft picks, I mean, we have an abundance of them, but how many of these draft picks do we have to give up to force this deal through? I'd like to think it's not going to be too many. I'm going to use, let's see. Yeah, so our second round pick in Tampa's are the two lowest. Will this go through? Dwyer and Reitz, 2 second-round picks for Lackey. Sweeten the value just a touch. I can do that. Let's use the Tampa third. Is that just a touch in your opinion, EA? Apparently not. Cool. A third-round pick isn't just a touch. Let's use the Columbus one. It's a bit further up. Is that enough? Yes, it is. Some of you wanted it. Bottom line is you all got it. Tate Dwyer. I hate to see it, but I have to take the sure thing in Elijah Lackey instead of hoping that we can repair that relationship. Tate Dwyer is going to Montreal along with Reitz, who was not going to develop. And again, you gave me the clear to make that trade along with 2 second-round picks and a third-round pick to the Habs for Elijah Lackey. So to me, that's Tate Dwyer and draft picks for Elijah Lackey. We don't lose anything major. I'm good with that. And again, we still have 6 first-round picks to do further damage with, which is ridiculous. So the top 6 right now, fairly well sorted out. Pretty damn ridiculous, and I think that's what we would have ended up with had, again, we known that Dwyer wasn't going to be okay with being a second-line guy. Now, we are on the board. I'll be intrigued to see who the AIs picked up. But that said, I'm going to try something here. I'm going to try something. I want an insurance policy in goal. If I can pull off getting Andrei Vasilevsky at half price, I'll reacquire him. I'm not paying him $10 million. It's too risky. But if I can get him at 50%, I'm on board. The only reason is that Gervais Chouinard is still on a cheap deal for one more season. He's on his ELC for this upcoming year. Dirksen's already wanting big money. I am willing to trade Dirksen if they want him to bring in Vasilevsky, and we go with the 1-2 punch of Gervais Chouinard and Vasi, which to me, best of both worlds. So if they're willing to take Dirksen, despite him being on an expiring deal, we're golden. Golden. So let's see how close this is to getting done. Still not. How about outright? Okay, it doesn't look like they're rejecting it, despite him not being signed, so that doesn't appear to be an issue. We still have third-round picks to use. We still have second-round picks to use. I'm not against trying to pull this off. I just have to be mindful of the timer for our first pick. We don't even know who's in this draft. I haven't even looked yet, so this is ridiculous, but I'm willing to pull this off. And mainly, to me, it's like my hands being forced with how much money Dirksen's looking for, which again, for it was like $7 million for 2 years, which is crazy. 1 second, 3/3, along with Dirksen for a half price Vasi. They don't want to retain. If I give up more, is there another player on roster who I'm confident isn't going to develop? That's the real question. You have Provorov, who's staying. You have Cody Glass, who's staying for now. Norton stays. Who else? Gertzen, Fedorov, Rizzi. You have Mason, Lackey, Goldobin. Christie is a 70 at 22. And I think that's our opening. Tristan Christie, a former 4th-round pick. I think we have our opening to pulling off this trade. I just need to call another timeout here. I think I hit offer trade again. I did. All right, cool. So the first pick's Tambellini and Roloff. I'll be intrigued to see who else is available. Might not be the strongest draft either. Let's go back to Pittsburgh. We're going to use some of our assets to try and pull off a major deal here. But if the Penguins reject, again, I'm not taking Vasi back for full salary. The only way I'm doing this is half salary. To me, again, getting rid of Dwyer, who's in poor morale, along with Reitz, who was never going to develop, and some minor draft picks for Lackey, that's a major win. It's a major win. In that way, again, I feel like you guys would have said, oh, well, Dyer's in bad morale, so, ditch him. Same thing here, as to where I'm not exactly trusting in Vasi, and I'm not fully on board with Gervais Chouinard. But again, I don't think anybody expected Gervais Chouinard to be that bad. We're going to try to use these two here. And I might even be able to safety net this and get some minor picks back. It really depends on where that value lies. So I'm going to see how close we are to a deal here. And apparently that looks good on its own. They just don't want to... They just really don't want to retain. What about now? I'm willing to lose this deal in terms of value because I'm giving up two players that are never going to be starters here to have a ridiculous backup goaltending situation and a insurance policy to our unproven starter. It's just, will they... Wow. I don't think we can pull this off, guys. I'm not willing to bring him back for $10 million. I'm not doing it. I'm too afraid of him regressing. And I don't have to worry about it. Okay, that, if reacquiring Lackey wasn't controversial, that will be. We trade Dirksen, who was an RFA, who's going to be looking to get paid a lot, alongside Christie, who was a defenseman who was never going to develop, and we get a half-priced Vasilevsky and a third-round pick. We don't have to give up any of our big picks. So again, now we have Vasi and Gervais Chouinard, a 1-2 punch. If we can't win the cup with that tandem, I don't know if we'll ever deserve it. The big question now is, defensively. But I mean, Jesus, Rositas is up to an 87. He's a top 2. So we're good. We don't need a top 2. We have Rositas. He's not top 2 in role, but he's going to be. So that's 1-2. And then we have Bobrovsky with either Norton or Gertzen. And then Hatainen, Toms, Lindbergh as the other guy, as the sixth defenseman. So we're set. We are 100% set right now. Not to mention, we're going to be getting a third overall pick. Which, if we take a defenseman, cool. If we take a forward, cool. And then eventually Cody Glass will be worked out. I mean, he's on an expiring deal right now. But we can take whoever. Our goal right now is just to take best player available. So, I regret it in that it's like, hey, more crazy moves, but I feel like I kind of went back on the decisions that you guys made, but in a way, not really, because I adapted to what happened this past season. We get a backup insurance policy and goal on a deal for Vasilevsky that was just simply too good to deny, and then the same thing for Lackey. To get him back, I wouldn't have traded Mason. Again, for a third-round pick to develop into what Mason had, or not Mason, Dwyer, I wouldn't have traded Dwyer. For him to develop into what he has as a third-round pick, I have too much pride in finding those gems that I wouldn't have gotten rid of them. That said, we're moving on. Let's see who we have here. So we have Jeremy Dykhouse, 6'5" at 17 years old. Not a great point total, but played at a men's... Yes, ma'am. There's another defenseman, Julian Atkinson, who also put up a pretty good point total. Oof. And straight A's, Lars Silverberg. Again, played in the men's league. I have to go Dykhouse, though. He's 17. I think we have to go Dykhouse, right? They're both two-ways. Yeah, it's not even a debate. Jeremy Dykhouse is going to be the pick. The Slovenian is a 78. Medium elite, as Squeaky Chair makes its presence known. Gotta love it. Detroit takes Atkinson, who's a 76. And the Ducks take Horkoff, a 74. Do the Leafs want to trade that pick? They don't. Okay, I can't go. I've used a lot of my bargaining chips. Yeah, the Leafs get a steal. Silverberg was just as good, but again, Dykhouse was a year younger, so I feel like we won that. Maybe should have traded up. Maybe. I don't know what the hell. Like, would it have been worth trading up multiple picks for that? Oh, God, I think I just done goofed by being a bit hesitant to pull the trigger. Then again, they didn't want to trade it, so that was about half bar, closing in on 2/3 of the way full. I would have had to give up a lot for them to trade that, so maybe not. I feel okay about that. We still got, in my opinion, the better player. Our next pick is the 14th option. A couple of decent medium top sixes. Tierney at a 74. Looks really good for Colorado. 17 as well. Don Tierney. That is a great pick for the Avalanche. But again, in terms of trading up, I think we're good. I think we're content. The big thing here, well, I wonder who we're taking. At the very least, I'll sort by potential, because people always ask me to. And Jesus Christ. Franchise goalie, medium elite gem, medium elite gem. I think we're going to be taking some goaltenders in this draft, fellas. And Matt Ams. Holy hell. So this could be good. This could be good. I'm still going to take a look, though. I mean, Kerman's going to be the pick. Cedric Blum honestly doesn't look that bad. Devin Boss, Chad Nickel. We don't know anything about Nobles, but yeah, Kerman's going to be the guy. Sammy Tarkey looking okay. Yeah, that's not a debate. That's not a debate. The 18-year-old Matty Kerman. Medium elite gem Chara comparison. Yes, please. 62 overall. Not too shabby. Good stuff. As we go to the 23rd pick. So we have Bolt, Tarkey, Osgood, Hill, Boss, Blum. So all those guys are fairly solid medium top 6 players and a medium top 4 in Osgood. Don't regret that choice at all. And we still have, Jesus. We have, what, 4 picks left? My God. My God. The benefits of making the trades that we did. Oh, the medium elites. There's Forster. All right. So we have, I need to see good grades here. Cristiano Witt could be decent. Schustrom, not bad. A medium 4. We have Wilkinson, who I don't really trust. Foster, who looks like a beast. And then a low elite guarantee. And Ward, ooh, good shooting as well. I think I'm going to take out Schustrom and Witt. I'd rather have the medium elite and the low elite. Is there anybody else? Like, do we have some crazy grades here that can convince me that you're the pick? Not bad, but Roger Mahalik might work out. I trust him more than I trust Ellison. Who else do we have? We have Ollie. Grades are... Wait a minute, what the hell? Jesus Christ! Like, I know he's 19, but my God, how many points is that? 121 points for the 19-year-old. Okay. Well, we don't know how good you are, but I'll certainly keep an eye out. Good Lord. Good Lord. And then the franchise Lidman's there. Okay, we'll keep an eye out on that. So, again, we still have 4 picks left in this first round. I know I'm taking the franchise goalie later, but I can't help it. I'm taking another one, too. Their value's way too high to deny. Norbert Forster. 17-year-old German. Braden Holtby comparison. Let's do it. Forster is my pick. He is medium elite 59. The Florida Panthers take Witt, who ended up being a 63. Now we have back-to-back selections. So let's see. We have Ward. When are my picks in the second round? We have the 4th and the 5th. Yes, that's promising. That is promising. Right, so we have 3 picks left in the first, if I'm not mistaken. So we have Ward, we have Mahalik, and Ollie, or Sarainen. And then at the start of the next round, we take these 2 gems, right? McGuire and Lidman? Seems like a plan to me. Jesus, the goaltending talent in this draft is out of control. That seems like a plan to me. I think we go for Rodney Ward here, 17 years old. 18 points. Solid grades. Let's do it. Rodney Ward is my pick. He is a 66. Not bad at all. 66 low elite. Mahalik is a bit of a risk. He's not a guarantee. But, ooh, Mike Gardner. I didn't even see that. Mike Gardner comparison. Interesting. So I think I can end up with Mahalik, and I think I can end up with Ollie with the next pick. I just have to decide between Mahalik, as I accidentally hit the back button. I have to decide between Mahalik and Sarainen, I think. It's one or the other. Let's take a look at Sarainen. 18 years old, B's and C's. So Mahalik's 18. That A in shooting, but I can't trust it. I know what Sarainen is, but I can't trust it with Mahalik. Right, and then again we have McGuire as a guarantee. Caleb Kemp is B's and C's. We have Lidman as a guarantee. Esa Puka. What else do we have? Justice McLean. Ooh. Decent grades for Justice McLean. We don't know anything about him. And what about Rylan Sullivan? B's and C's. No guarantee for him, though. Still not bad. What about Carl Stanton? Also not looking terrible. Vikingstad has a really good shot. Pascal Ouellette. Or Ouellette, I should say. B's and C's, not a guarantee. I'm going to go with my gut on this one and just take the guy who I think I want no matter what, and that's Andrew Ollie. There's no guarantees of anything, but Jesus, that point total I think is too good to pass up. So Andrew Ollie is going to be my pick. I'm hoping for medium 6, low elite would be great. Or he can be a medium elite 66 overall. What? You are kidding me that he is a medium elite. How did he fall to 26th? Oh, thank God I saw that point total. Oh my God. Whoo, boy, that, you know, I wasn't sure how this episode was going, how people would feel about it. But when you draft a player like Andrew Ollie, 26th overall, all those worries go away. Now, he is going to take a little bit of development time. He is not great at anything. He's very physical. But medium elite, dude. 19 years old, 66 overall. I feel like we made the right choice. As Schustrom was half decent, fast, Wilkinson, Ottawa with a couple of picks as well. So the Sens just did pretty good there. We have one more pick. At this point, I don't even care if we botch it. We have Mahalik, who is the highest rated. We have Sarainen, Vikingstad, Stanton, or Sullivan. And then I'll definitely take McGuire and Lidman with those, 3rd and 4th or 4th and 5th in the second round. I think we're decided here. I think I'm just going to go for Mahalik and hope for the best. It's a little bit of a risk because I know what Sarainen is, but fuck it. I'm feeling lucky. Let's do it. Roger, please at least be low elite. Please. Yes, I'll take it. 64 overall. Roger Mahalik. Not too shabby at all. What a first round. That is insane. And we're not done yet because, oh, thank God they didn't take the jump. Unless somebody jumped and took that goalie, which they didn't, we're also adding a franchise goalie to the mix. This is ridiculous. Let's do it. Franchise, Juha Lidman. I believe it's pronounced Lidman, though. More so. Let's do it. It's not even a debate. Let's go. 58 overall. Not too shabby. Should develop better than Reitz ever did. So we got that going for us, too. And next up, I have to take the medium 4 gem, right? When is our next pick after this? Do we have another second round pick? We do. Interesting. Okay, so we have Sarainen. Let's double check this here. We have Jared Caffrey, not a guarantee. Medium 4. Rankowitz, I don't care. We have Sarainen. Pretty much straight C's, low elite. We have Ouellette. Couple of B's, but I don't know if I can trust it. Vikingstad has a good shot, but a medium 6. I want a higher ceiling than that. Carl Stanton had 44 points. Kuznetsov comparison. I'll take Vikingstad off the list. We have Sullivan. B's and C's, that D in skating. And we also have Chuck McGuire. B's and C's. Shea Weber comparison. Interesting. We have Kemp. B's and C's for Esa Puka. Justice McLean. Can't really trust that. Amani, although at this point, I don't think we need another goalie. Cam Ward comparison. No, thank you. No, thank you. Is there anybody else who wants to make a play here for being the pick? Fabian Kessel. Probably a defensive D-man, not an enforcer. Maybe even a two-way Shattenkirk comparison. Ooh, Jalen Amadio. Not bad. Not bad. Oh my God, okay. Well, first off, we have Xander Parsons, who is interesting, but then another medium elite confirmed goalie, and I gotta admit, man, if he's there, he's the guy to take. His value will just be too damn good. And there's Jalen Barker, who we can't really trust, and apparently our scout took the day off when looking at those guys. And then Pierre Perreault, Jesus. And then another medium elite, Nikolai Mayorov. Oh my god, he's not great, but still, he's a medium elite. Jesus. Another medium elite, Taylor McBride. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. So, if we scroll way back up there. So, Sarainen, Stanton, Sullivan, McGuire. I probably go for the gem. And then we probably look at Amadio next. Just to risk it. Amadio had those solid grades. Might end up being a medium 9. But I think I'm willing to risk it. Sarainen, Stanton, Sullivan, just the grades aren't quite there, right? Like there's no guarantee of them being anything great, although they might be low elites. I'm going to take them off the list. I'm going to go with my gut on this one. We're going to take Chuck McGuire, a 17-year-old, who has the gem status. We'll take him. He ends up being a 62. It's not horrific. Stanton's off the board, medium 6, 62. While that's there, Sarainen was low elite, but a 62. I'm fairly happy with the pick. Based off of who else was drafted, I'm fairly happy with that selection, actually, to get a gem. Hopefully, he lives up to that status. And then from there, again, Olchek, but the grades weren't great. Kessel, but the grades weren't great. And then there's Jalen Amadio. Do we have another pick in the second round after this? No, this is our last pick for a while. Jesus. Okay, so we have this one pick, and then we're essentially waiting a complete round plus, like a round and a half, before we get another pick. So just to count this out, that is 7 with Nightingale, 14 with Davis, Berglund's there, that's 21 with Barker, Perreault, okay. So we need to choose, unless I trade up, which I don't think I will, between Berglund, I'm not going to take Berglund. Which honestly I should, because again, in terms of trade value, he's going to be through the goddamn roof. He really is. There's Perreault, and Mayorov, I think, falls in line with that too. Right. So for me, and then there's McBride afterwards, who we should be able to get. So we have 2 medium elites, confirmed medium elites, which, I mean, or I take the fun mystery box in Amadio or Pierre Perreault. Perreault's a complete unknown, as opposed to Amadio, who I can't help but feel might be a decent medium 9, basically. He's also an overager at 20, Perreault is not. So right now, it's either I take Perreault, Berglund, or Mayorov. Mayorov was 18. It's going to take him forever to develop. He would be a player that we pick just for the trade value. Same with Berglund. We've already taken a goalie. Or I have a little fun, and I take Pierre Perreault, who could be pretty damn good. The guarantee or the mystery box. I don't think it's a smart mystery box, but if he's really good, I'd never forgive myself. I'm going mystery box. Pierre Perreault, please work out. He did not. Low 6, 61. I don't know how he's a 61 based off those grades. I know they weren't 100% accurate, but that's a big swing and miss. But you know what? Sometimes you got to have a little bit of fun. You got to risk these things. And unfortunately, it did not work out. Ooh. Fuck me. That's not good. McBride was the other one I was looking at, right? He's the other guy I was looking at that I thought I was going to have time to take later. Shit. Oh, it all fell apart there, guys. I thought, based off of timing it out, that McBride was still going to be there. And I really wish he was, because he was the real deal. Mayorov was a 51. That's a bad miss. I honestly thought I honestly thought McBride was still going to be there. I really thought that McBride was still going to be available to us. And despite the fact that every other pick I feel like we knocked out of the park, and Lord knows we've had enough of them, so that should be the feeling. Sullivan was a low elite. Medium elite Amani. Yeah, we messed up. The only way that wasn't going to feel like a giant mistake was if I took one of the two medium elites, but we chose the mystery box. We tried to have a little bit of fun with it, and it backfired. I really did think, though, that McBride was still going to be there. Thought for sure, okay, no team's going to go off the board for him. That was incorrect. Had I even had the inkling of a thought of, yeah, you know what, some team might go off the board a little bit and take this guy, which in fairness, it wasn't even that far off the board, but if I thought that was a possibility, then fuck yeah, I mean, he was the guy to take. That's not even a discussion. So, shot myself in the foot on that one, and that's what happens. The second you start to get, okay, those are the best grades I've ever seen for a goalie. The second you start to get confident and being like, hell yeah, this draft is going so well, you just make a mistake like that, and it all comes crashing down. Pablo Wyman. I won't be making that mistake again, probably. I say probably. Oh, that sucks. Isn't that shitty how that works? Like, we're having a phenomenal draft, right? Like, we have some really good players just fall into our lap at this point. And then one bad mistake, and that's the one that's just driving me crazy. I can't be happy about the good choices. I have to go mental about the horrible choice. The one horrible choice. When is our next pick after this one? It's a few picks away. Cool. So, we'll see who we got here. In case you haven't noticed, this is pretty much just going to be a draft episode at this rate. So, there was Voros, who's not confirmed. There's Turikov, who's not confirmed. And there was Bradford. I kind of want to take Bradford. Because, Jesus, those grades. I'm gonna go with my gut on this one. I'm gonna take Tyler Bradford. Hopefully he's a medium starter. He's a fringe. He ended up being a 74, which is pretty good. But, yeah, didn't take the jump up to medium starter, unfortunately. Damn. And we'll also look to take that confirmed medium elite. Let's take Pablo Wyman, the 19-year-old. A little bit concerned that this overall is going to be very low, and it is, but he is a medium elite. We get him for at least the value. I cannot believe someone went off the board and took that guy. That's the main takeaway from me for this episode, is you done goofed, and you missed out on that one really good player. You got a bunch of good players, but you missed out on that one really good player. Although, Marshall Pronger could help me feel better about it. Anybody else who wants to help me feel better about this situation? Corso's not terrible. Galina, Devin Prust, Bourget. Anybody else want to have really good grades, please? Anybody? Anybody at all? Turkov, Valaket, also there. So nobody, Kai Curry, nobody with crazy good grades. Svens Forstrom is ridiculously physical. Tommy Karkner. Where are we down? Well, we're still at the low elites, huh? Malakoff. Nobody else wants to have crazy good grades, so my chances, hello, Warren London, or Lundeen, my chances of ending this draft on a bit of a high note seem to have fizzled out. So unfortunately, we'll be ending things on that sour note of me. Shout out to Dinger and Pecker. We'll be ending things on me swinging and missing to a horrific extent because the AI reached, and I'll never forgive them. Ever. Are there any medium 9s here that have good grades? No. Okay, cool. So we go back to the top of the list. And at this point, I mean, grades, Pronger was up there. Is there anybody who has like a really impressive point total? Or, better yet, someone who isn't 20 years old? Can I look at all skaters? I can. Let's get the goalies out of here. Now we take risks. So we're looking for younger players here that at least have time to develop if they are actually that potential. And there is not a single 18-year-old in that group. Someone who will actually have time to develop. What about the low elites? Or are we looking at nothing but overagers? Hector Bartlett could be the guy. Trent Myers. Trying to pay attention as well to any crazy point totals. Kai Curry. Let's get Turikov off of that list too. Actually, let's get Turikov right back onto that list. So, out of you guys, Lundin, kind of trust it. Myers, Turikov, Pronger, let's get you off the list for the moment. Corso, and Bartlett was good. Let's sort this again. We got 45 seconds here. Who had the best point totals? Let's see, 6 points for Myers. Anybody? Bartlett. Congratulations, Hector Bartlett from the Acadia, or not the Acadia Bathurst Teton, from the other team, the Armada. And unfortunately, Bartlett is the worst. So again, my chances of ending this draft on a high note have seemingly gone up in smoke. And we don't know anything really about these guys. I don't even feel confident about selecting people, even someone like Valaket. I'm going to look for decent point totals. Someone like a 17-year-old Guy Duchesne, Nick Trevelyan, who could be half decent. Damian Chow. Someone win me over with point totals. Like, give me like a crazy good point total. You're 20, though. Hunter Addison, not too bad. Anybody with like just a stupid point total? The answer appears to be no. Right. Well, we'll go back up to the top of the list then. And who's the first guy on that list? Trevelyan, who actually was Duchesne. Let's go for Guy Duchesne. Quebec Remparts. Let's just take a risk. Okay, well, taking risks. Not all that fruitful. Now we skip all the way to the 6th round. So, screw it. We'll see who we have here. You know what? Pronger's still there. I was tempted to take him. Marshall Pronger. Seattle T-Birds. It's a medium top 467. That proved to be a pretty damn good decision. We have one more pick here in the 6th round. Again, this has been a phenomenal draft for us in terms of trading, in terms of drafting, but it's that one miss that is going to haunt me. There's one defenseman in this group. Let's take Jamal Stasiak. Hope for the best. Low top 6. Okay, well, hoping for the best hasn't exactly been all that beneficial for me, so maybe we won't do that anymore. Maybe I'll hold off on hoping for the best. Here comes the pessimism. Let's go for, I don't even know. Myers, you were on the list from before. Why not? I pinned you earlier for some reason. Low 651. Not sure what that reason was. You're kind of garbage. That brings to a close a fairly ridiculous draft where, again, up to the Perot pick, 3 through 36. Kind of tough to screw it up. We did very well, especially with that all-E selection. Very, very frustrating selection there, though, in the middle rounds. Hello, Elijah Lackey. You're right, I won't, buddy. Welcome back. Welcome back. I believe in you. Don't let me, don't let me down, buddy. Don't do it. Let's see, Rositas. Not happy about me trading Tate Dwyer. Sometimes you have to make decisions that are tough. Hard decision. I'm sorry it affected you that way. It's true. I am sorry. I am sorry, Lubomir. I'm sorry. There we go. Vasi, welcome back. Don't let me down. Don't let me down. And Gervais Chouinard. We're just trying to... A little competition never hurt anybody, buddy. A little bit of competition never hurt anybody. That sums up the Gervais Chouinard standpoint right now. We do have some scouts retire. Hopefully I'll remember to fix that, or the contracts are up. So this team overall, again, is looking ridiculous. Goaltending wise, we have Vassy here on $5 million. Gervais Chouinard has one more good year. Cal Peterson will be let go for now. Frappier will be dropped, obviously. We have the option, and to be honest, it's not a bad option, of signing Bradford. Probably won't. I think Whitaker will be the backup goalie at the NHL level this season. And again, we still have Forster and Lidman there, which is just stupid. So actually, let's take care of that right now and send the ELC to Whitaker. Amongst the defensemen, Rositas' contract is up, so that's rough. We will drop Belpedio for now and Brandon Goulet, who were just here to fill out the roster. Ragnarsson and Jake Dotchin as well, as we had to sign a bunch of randoms. But I think we're good. To be honest, injuries are on. I'm going to sign Bradford as well. We're going to keep him as the 5th goalie in case of injury. Rositas needs to be signed. To be honest, I don't think we were going to get that much of a discount if we tried to sign him a few weeks ago. So that is 8.1. So we're down into the 7 range, down into the 6. You know what? I think I might just sign him for the years that he's looking for instead of trying to max it out. And we'll get him on a really good deal. 6.5, basically, is what we're looking at, which for someone who's shaping up to be a top 2 defenseman, that's a damn good contract. Keep in mind we have $28 million in space. So we have our 6 with Hatainen. Then down the HL, Toms, Lindbergh, McChesney, Sjustrom. Who else do we have to sign? Nobody. Butler and Crab. Okay. So we're good to pretty much bring everybody back. Let's see if Lindbergh wants to come back. Only for a season. I'm good with that if he is. And McChesney, also 24. Someone who long-term isn't going to pan out, but can still be signed for now. So like I said, Hatainen would be the 6th man. So we have Toms, Lindbergh, McChesney, Sjustrom. Need to sign at least 2 more players. And then could bring in others. So Butler and Crab, probably never going to develop. But we can still sign them up, bring them in as depth. That's fine. Are there any of the guys here that can be signed? Pretty much all Canadian. Billy Abney is a 65. You know, I'm actually going to hold off then. We'll bring in those 2 and just bring in some veteran depth options. And then forward-wise, big contract here is Cody Glass, Fotinos as well. Let's see what we can do with Glass's deal. Oof. That is rough. We go 6 years. I mean, we can theoretically afford it. Fotinos, Bembridge, Rizzi, Verbata, Drake Batherson we can drop, Oscar Lindblom we can drop, Dykhouse. The good thing is he can go straight to the AHL for a season, just to rip them to shreds. So we'll drop all of the excess here that we had to sign. I don't know if we're going to outright get to the preseason. We might. It's already shaping up to be a fairly long episode. Of course it is, though. Rosita signs Bradford, McChesney, Lindbergh, Whitaker, Butler, Crab. All signed. So we're looking good on that front. Again, goaltending-wise, we are set. Defensively, we are set outside of needing to sign a couple of depth defensemen. And then forward-wise, $20 million to sign Glass, Fotinos, and company. So Cody Glass, I'm going to offer him what he's looking for. I doubt he accepts it. Fotinos, probably looking for a bit more than he deserves, but I like that little air of confidence that he thinks he's going to be worth that. We're going to go 5.9. I could technically go a little bit lower if the 85% trick were to work. From there, Steos, Robertson. I'm not necessarily concerned about anybody here. Strong will sign up. We don't want him going to free agency. Dubinsky as well will obviously look to sign up. Just trying to secure some of our AHL depth right now. Millen at a low 6, still probably worth signing, even if he ends up being depth. Medium 9, Watton is going to be dropped. Yeah, former 7th round pick, so we're not missing out on much there. Pajot, medium elite at a 65, might not ever make it, but we'll still sign him up. Good fodder to be traded later. 2-2 as well, 21 and a 64. Never going to make it, but we'll sign him up for now. And that's that. So let's see what we get here in terms of these offers before we worry about guys like Bembridge. And we'll see what we're dealing with. So Dubinsky signs, 2-2. Pajot, Glass rejects, Millen, Fotinos, Strong. Okay, so Cody Glass was the only one to reject that deal, which puts us into a pretty good spot. $15 million. And even if Cody Glass were to go, we would be able to survive it, funny enough. But obviously now getting back Vasti at half price puts a couple of things into doubt. In terms of like, okay, well, who's staying amongst the RFA troop who will be the last to sign? So Cody Glass, definitely, we're going to try to sign him up. And the thing is, with Cody Glass, like, he's gone. Like, he's not going to see the end of that contract. His replacement was just drafted. Say hello to Dykhouse. He is 1,000% going to replace Cody Glass in that top 6. So we're fine. Like, we're good to go long term. I do need to remember our scouts. Glass still rejects. Oh, this could be painful for the bottom 6, though, if he continues to be as stingy as he is right now in terms of negotiations, which really, not a good move, buddy. I have to admit, not a good move on your part. Kind of forcing my hand like this. Oh my God. Okay, so we now need to prepare for life without Cody Glass, because he's being a little bit ridiculous about this. Before I forget, because that's obviously going to take up a lot of my attention, let's go ahead and try to re-sign all of our scouts. But yeah, Cody Glass kind of screwing us over there, to be honest. Kind of sucks. But we should be able to overcome it. Good old Brent Lowe, Takashi, Tuomainen, and whoever the hell the guy was at the top of the list, that is Rupp. Glenn Rupp. Glenn Rupp. Okay, so we'll look to bring everybody back so we don't have to worry about it. And let's see what else we can do here. So the RFAs will be the last to be signed. Or the RFAs will be the last to be signed. So forward-wise, technically we have 4, 5, and then someone like Fedorov could step up if need be. So ideally, that's 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So I gotta be honest, guys like Robertson and Steos could probably go, because we do have some other guys here that are worth keeping around. Someone like Novikov could also go if need be. So I want to look at how many players just in general do we have signed. So let's see, it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 with Glass, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, so we have room for 8 more people. Right. This is going to be tough. How much is Rizzy looking for? Not much at all. That is extremely helpful, but perhaps a bad sign to how much he's going to be progressing in the future. Bembridge also not looking for anything. So I can afford to throw a little bit more money Cody Glass's way. But there's no guarantees he signs at this point. So I think what we're going to do is hopefully sign up everybody else. A little bit concerned with how much money Steos is asking for. Hopefully sign up everybody else. Go 1-year deals just to try and be cheap. And then we just throw as much money Cody Glass's way as we can. I think that is the strategy. Even someone like Nilstorp, still look to sign him up. Let's just go $1 million on that front. And then, of course, Dykhouse could be signed. Novikov is going to be signed for the moment. just to help fill out that AHL roster. So let's see what happens here in this regard to signing everybody else except for Cody Glass. Rizzi accepts. Verbata. Is anybody going to reject? Steos rejects. So that complicates things ever so slightly. Are those the final 2 unsigned players? They are. Right. So Steos is looking for 2. So for Cody Glass, we can go 12 million, which is insane, and which means this might be Cody Glass's last year here. But I'm going to go all out. We're going to go 12 million over 6 years for Cody Glass. And for Steos, we're going to go 1 year at just under 2.5. And that's the best we can do. If I either reject, then so be it. We'll adapt if we have to. Let's see what happens. We're going to get the scouts back. Cody Glass has re-signed, as you see at the top. Steos has also re-signed. So we have managed, not in an ideal way, but we have managed to make this work with everybody staying. So to get a look at this organization now, we are going to be ending the episode here. I forgot to take a look at the progress reports at the end of last year, but that's fine. We can take a look here. Goaltending. So, right now, Vasilevsky, Gervais Chouinard. Again, probably only for this year. Gervais Chouinard will hopefully get a chance to really prove himself, and then Vasi will still have good trade value if we have to back out of that. We have Coburn, who will probably by the beginning of the year be a step away from being an NHL backup, if not already there. We have Bradford and Whitaker signed as well, with Forster and Lidman in the system. Defensively, it is Provorov, Rositas, Gertson, Norton, Bobrovsky, Hatainen. Hopefully Hatainen or Toms take a major step forward. One of these 2 will be down on the third pairing. And in terms of prospects, we do have Kerman. We do have Nickel, who's looking a little bit shaky. So defensive prospects could be a major focus. Also McElroy, Pronger, McGuire, who was a gem. So we have some medium 4s. In terms of elites, we're struggling. And then forward-wise, just absurd. Klassen, Mason, Lackey, Goldobin, Glasson, Fotinos for this year, and probably this year only, with the likes of, again, Fedorov, Bembridge, Rizzi, Leddy. We'll see who fills out that bottom 6. Again, Dykhouse is up there. Bykov is up there. Dubinsky is signed. Ollie is there. There's some fairly ridiculous talent. And draft pick-wise, cannot be overlooked. We have 3 extra first-round picks this year, including Montreal's, the Islanders again, and the Penguins again. 2 second-round picks, ours in Tampa. We have so much power, so much maneuverability. It's just a matter of making sure that we're in the right place at the right time. I'm going to end it there, though, so you guys can give your feedback on what this has been. In the next episode, we set up this roster and begin a new season where, bottom line, it is Stanley Cup or bust.